So each of you talked about climate from obviously a very different perspective, from a policy perspective and from an engineering physics perspective. Let's turn the tables a minute. Michael, what do you see as the biggest engineering challenge here that needs to happen? And Saul, what has to happen from a policy, not necessarily a legal policy, but just maybe even a social policy perspective? Michael?
Yeah, I've been fascinated with biological solutions to this problem since the mid-'80s, and they're scary because they involve genetically modified organisms. But literally in the mid-'80s, we used to say, okay, we need a tree that like sucks carbon out of the sky faster than anything else, or a plankton that sinks to the Marianas Trench faster than anything else, or some biological solution. I think that getting the mix right of what's acceptable from an ethical and biological systems perspective, and finding a way to accelerate what fossil fuels are, which is 300 billion years of biological activity, for at least some part of the problem we have to solve, is probably the trickiest one that we have to think about.
So give me a little bit more on that.
Okay, so biofuels. I mean, functionally, what we put in the atmosphere is about a third of 300 billion years of sunlight. Right? I mean, we've used about a third of oil and coal. We're not going to get to about a third of it. There's about a third more we may get to, and that's just dinosaurs and trees and plants that have been buried and processed for 300 billion years. We may have lots of electrons, are a good thing, but we're going to need some form of liquid fuel also. And we're going to need some way to continue some biological process of fuel in a way that's sustainable, that's present-based, like in and out, flow today, not wait 300 billion years. And I think that's a big engineering challenge. It's a big scientific challenge to do it in a way that doesn't mess with the rest of living things on the planet, including ourselves.
So how to use solar energy in real time, as opposed to in this billion-year lag time.
Well, if you know biofuels, I mean, the cellulosic ethanol involves both genetic modifications of the plants, it involves genetic modifications of the bugs that digest them. Some people aren't comfortable with that. It doesn't work very well. It can be nasty. But we're going to need something like that that actually works well and sustainably. Maybe it's a biomimicry problem.
Mm-hmm.